Elon Musk, I got a call that changed my life forever. I kept this personal tale under wraps until now. It revolves around a single phone conversation that hit me out of nowhere, reshaping my entire outlook on ambition, fulfillment, and the real essence of a meaningful existence. Drop a comment below. Tell us about the call that flipped my world upside down on what it means to thrive. Chosen one, don't just receive, respond. A simple super thanks up to $20 is a way to say yes to what heaven is releasing through this word. It was a hectic Wednesday night about half a year back. I was kneed in one of the toughest stretches of my professional journey, juggling crises at several firms, dealing with escalating backlash from the public, and battling burnout that was pushing me to my limits. That night, I'd barricaded myself in my home office, telling everyone to leave me alone. A flood of high-stakes choices loomed over me, and I couldn't let anything pull me away. I'd been grinding non-stop for close to 18 hours, fueled only by endless coffee and raw willpower. Right at 10:47 p.m., my ultra-private cell buzzed to life. The one with a number known to just a tiny circle of trusted contacts. I nearly ignored it. In that instant, no interruption felt worth the cost to my pressing tasks. But curiosity won out, and I peeked at the display. The name staring back, Dr. William Bennett. My fingers hovered, stunned. Dr. Bennett was the standout mentor from my college days. A sharp-minded physicist who'd endured the cutthroat world of higher education with a mix of raw intellect and savvy maneuvering. He'd zeroed in on me early, an oddball undergrad full of wild theories who dared to poke holes in the status quo. For half a year, he dismantled and rebuilt my worldview, not only in physics, but in critical thinking, spotting hidden connections, and defying the obvious. Life pulled us apart after that, as it does over 3 decades and vast distances. I picked up anyway. "Elon, that you?" The voice carried the weight of age, a bit shaky, but still carried that no-nonsense edge I recalled so well. "Dr. Bennett." "Yeah, it's me. This is a surprise. Sorry to barge in like this. Hope I'm not derailing anything crucial." I eyed the chaos on my monitors, streams of factory stats, budget forecasts, tech hurdles that had screamed urgency seconds ago. "Nah, it can hold for a bit. How do you even track down this line?" A faint laugh escaped him. "Age hasn't dulled all my tricks. I wouldn't tap them unless it was urgent." "You okay? Need help with something?" "No crisis on that front, but some recent health updates have me reaching out to a few standout students from back in the day." "You topped my short list." His delivery turned grave. "The prognosis? About 3 months left. Late-stage pancreatic cancer." A wave of unexpected sadness washed over me for this man I'd barely thought of in years. "That's awful. I'm truly sorry. Save the pity. I've lived a full 83 years packed with pursuits that lit me up. But health isn't why I'm calling. It's the reflections hitting me hard lately, and I needed to pass a key insight your way." I eased back into my seat, the glowing screens fading into irrelevance. "I've kept tabs on your path," he went on. "Impressive empire you forged. But I spot in you the same blind spot I wrestled with. A skewed take on real accomplishment. A spark of pushback flared in me. With respect, sir, by standard yardsticks. Standards? Sure. He cut in softly. You've revolutionized daily life with your innovations, stacked up enterprises worth fortunes, but those aren't the yardsticks that count in the end. Then what does I pressed my skepticism, giving way to real interest? That's my focus these days post-diagnosis. Gazing back over 8 decades, the highlights aren't the breakthroughs or accolades. They're the times I was all in. Raw bonds with people. Total immersion in life's raw magic, not barreling toward the next milestone. He paused, breathing unevenly. Recall our chats on the observer effect in quantum mechanics. How watching something alters it. Absolutely. I said it was a highlight exploring how awareness shapes the physical world. I've started seeing life the same way. He explained, full engagement in the now crafts a richer reality than when your head's lost in tomorrow's worries or yesterday's to-do. Sounds more like pondering than proven fact. I noted maybe so, but facing the end blurs those lines. What sharpens into focus is wisdom over folly. And what folly do you see in me? I asked, hooked despite myself. The trap of tying purpose to output, pegging value to scale, defining victory by conquests, not by savoring the breath you're taking. His insight pierced deep, clashing with the drive that's powered me for years. The conviction that solving big riddles, crafting game-changing tools, and elevating humanity spells true worth, but scale counts, I argued. Tackling issues for billions, shattering limits, that's tangible good. Undeniably, he agreed swiftly. Don't ditch the drive or the vision. It's about integration, not opposition. Big wins without being there. Trophies without ties. They ring empty at life's close. As we delve deeper, Dr. Bennett opened up about his own path. Peaks of scientific glory shadowed by emotional voids, by showing up physically but vanishing mentally for life's tender beats. I chased the next theorem publication honor. He admitted even with loved ones my brain was elsewhere crunching equations. I squandered irreplaceable instants of warmth. Awe, affection, all because I equated progress with a worthy life. His words mirrored my habits. Scarce full-hearted hangs, a mind forever scheming amid downtime, days judged by output over depth. The hardest truth hit during my wife's last days, 15 years on, he shared, voice wavering. In her final stretch, I saw how I'd ghosted our shared story there in body, absent in spirit. Chats half heard, joys half felt. On her clearest goodbye day, she whispered, I longed for you to really be with us through it all. Not more wins or fixes, just you here. That echoed too close. How many echoes of absence were stacking in my own bonds? How often did I clock in for key scenes but tune out for the real show? With this news, Dr. Bennett said, I've tested a new rhythm, total dive into today, undivided focus on companions, raw feel of being over optimized hustle. And I urged as silence stretched. These weeks amid the aches and the endgame, they've outshone most of my years. I'm in it, not racing past it. We talked for almost 2 hours. Alerts piled up, ignored for once. He unpacked habits for anchoring in the present, techniques to lock in on dialogues, sensations, souls. He described how this pivot enriched his closing chapter, forging tighter links and cherishing breath itself. Wrapping up, he dropped a line etched in my core. Elon, your talents are vast, but legacy isn't your ventures or gadgets. It's how deeply you inhabit your days, the richness of your ties. Whether you claim your extraordinary ride or skim its surface en route to more post-call, I froze at my station. The frenzy dulled, priorities shuffled. For the first stretch in ages, doubt cracked the armor of my achievement. First creed, the idea that drive defines destiny. That output outranks all. 2 weeks on, I reshuffled everything to visit him. 3 days side by side, my most attuned stretch in memory. Frail as he was, he embodied his lesson. Undivided gaze on the speaker, total soak in the scene, no mental side trips. It warped time. Those days brimmed fuller, vibrantier than my usual sprint marathons. He slipped away 6 weeks after ahead of schedule at the service. Tributes zeroed not on his labs or papers, impressive as they were, but on his quiet gifts being there in storms, making folks feel truly known. That out-of-the-blue ring sparked a seismic shift in my success blueprint. No overnight flip. I still pour into vital quests, but a core realignment of priorities, metrics, and sacrifices. In the half years since, I've enacted shifts my old self would have dismissed. Work walls to guard relational space. Routines to dial in deeper alerts to spot when efficiency devours engagement and weigh if it's fair trade. Above all, I gauge evenings anew not just tallies of tasks, but tallies of immersion. Where did I show up whole? What slices did I taste fully? When did bonds trump bustle? Early on, the mirror was brutal. Output heavy days barren of depth. Crowds crossed, but none truly met. Presences faked through presences missed. Bit by bit, intent has tilted the scale. I chase impact, yes, but woven with sharper awareness of my path. Choosier on what yields to what. It's messy work. The old grind tug society chants that output equals worth scale spells sense. Hustle hails heroes. I still falter scrolling mid-chat plotting ahead in the now. Scoring time by yields alone. Yet that ring fractured the script, letting light question the chase of conquest over calm, scale over soul, action over essence. His true bequest, not tips, though gold, but proof, presence as power, attention as art, engagement as eternity, not perpetual pursuit. I spill this because I bet many over 60 harbor parallel gems. You've gleaned via trials that immersion trumps industry. Bonds beat builds. Daily depth outlasts lifetime hauls. For those wired like my past self, chasing the wind that unlocks joy, betting big on breadth over being, pause. Keep the fire, but frame it in fuller living. Chatting with folks in their late 70s, 80s, 90s since echoes abound. Regrets skew to less hustle, more heart, more here-ness for kin, more sync with inner truths over outer scores. I've landed here. Output-led living is partial at best. Claiming the now's treasures isn't sideline till done. It's the core of done right. Dr. Bennett's ritual now anchors my nights. Where did I arrive fully? What did I live not log? When did I pick people over progress? It started stark, evolved sweeter. Progress persists, but laced with life, not blind to the cost, not casual with the choice. The road's rugged, blending fire with flow, winds with warmth, reach with root. But it's the one sans end of day's sting. May this nudge you sooner to his sight. Output alone has the hull. Immersing in irreplaceables isn't afterthought. It's the all. Young builders, family forayers, world shapers, don't drop the ball, but probe your pace. Are you trading now for later laments? Stockpiling feats while life slips unseen. Elders, your hard-won truths, voice them. They're lifelines for the output-obsessed, the scale-seekers that ring timed perfectly post-peak proofs of plenty's voids mid-burnout hunch of missing marrow. His talk, his total there-ness amid farewell unlocked a wider win, not output only but output plus presence, not scale solo but scale and soul. Not merit by makes but by moments mined fully. Half a year in missions march on. But with fresh sight on the summit, sparked by a fading mentor's final fierce nudge. Pass this to a soul needing the beyond bustle nudge. Hit subscribe for more on purpose over production. What's your takeaway on life's true treasures? It was a Wednesday evening just 6 months ago. I was in the middle of one of the most grueling stretches of my career. Deadlines closing in from multiple companies. Criticism building from all directions. Exhaustion pressing down harder than ever. That night, I locked myself in my office, determined not to be disturbed. My desk was buried in urgent files, glowing monitors stacked with problems demanding solutions. For nearly 18 hours straight, caffeine and sheer determination carried me forward. At 10:47 p.m., my private line rang. The one almost no one has. My first instinct was to ignore it. Nothing, I thought, could be more important than the crisis in front of me. But for some reason, I looked at the screen. The name froze me in place. Dr. William Bennett. Dr. Bennett was more than just a professor for my university years. He was the person who had shaped the way I think. A brilliant physicist, tough yet deeply insightful, who had taken a special interest in me when I was a student, challenging conventions. For half a year, he forced me to question everything I believed, not just about science, but about life itself. And then, as decades passed, our paths drifted apart. I pressed answer. Elon, is it really you? The voice was Fryer, aged by time, but unmistakably his. Dr. Bennett. Yes, it's me. This is unexpected. I hope I'm not disturbing you, he said. I glanced at my screens. Financial forecasts, engineering problems, production bottlenecks. Just minutes before, they had seemed like matters of life and death. Suddenly, they felt small. Nothing that can't wait, I told him. But how did you even get this number? A soft chuckle. Let's just say I still have a few connections. I wouldn't have called if it wasn't important. And then his voice shifted, serious, direct. Elon, I have about 3 months left. Pancreatic cancer. Quite advanced. A jolt went through me. Decades without speaking, yet instantly my chest tightened. I'm so sorry to hear that, I whispered. Don't be. 83 years is a long time. Most of them spent doing what I loved. But I didn't call to talk about my health. I called because I've been reflecting on what truly matters and I wanted to share something with you before my time is up. I leaned back in my chair, my entire office fading into the background. He continued. I've followed your career. You've built extraordinary things, Elon, but I see in you what I once saw in myself, a dangerous misunderstanding of success. I felt a surge of defensiveness. With respect, I think by most measures, yes, he interrupted softly. By conventional measures, you've surpassed nearly everyone. Companies worth billions. Technologies reshaping humanity. But those are not the measures that matter most. Then what does matter? I asked, my voice quieter now. That's what I've been wrestling with since my diagnosis. And the answer is clear. When I look back across 8 decades, what stands out isn't the papers I published, the awards I received, or the discoveries I made. It's the moments I was fully present for. The times I gave my undivided attention to people I loved. The rare occasions I stopped rushing toward the next achievement and actually lived the moment I was in. I sat in silence as he spoke, the glow of my monitors casting shadows across the room. Do you remember our conversations about the observer effect? He asked. Of course, I said, how observation itself changes reality. I believe life works the same way. He said, when you are truly present completely here, the reality you experience is richer, fuller, more alive. But when you're always half somewhere else, rushing toward tomorrow, you miss the very thing you're alive for. I exhaled slowly. That sounds more like philosophy than physics. He chuckled. Perhaps. But at the edge of life, the line between wisdom and science stops mattering. And I see in you, Elon, the same ignorance I carried for most of my years. The belief that meaning comes from achievement. That purpose is defined by impact. That success is measured in what you build, not in how deeply you live. His words struck me hard, not because I agreed, but because they challenged the very foundation I had built my life upon. I pushed back. But impact matters, I said. Solving problems that affect millions. Advancing what's possible that creates real value. Of course, he replied without hesitation. I'm not saying abandon your work. I'm saying don't confuse accomplishment with life itself. Impact without presence leaves you empty in the end. Achievement without connection feels hollow when you finally stop to look back. He began sharing stories from his career, triumphs in science, but paired with regrets. I was always chasing the next paper, the next recognition, he admitted. Even at home, my mind was elsewhere. My greatest regret came when my wife was dying. She told me with tears in her eyes, I wish you had been more present for our life together. Not, I wish you had been more successful. Not, I wish you had discovered more, simply more present. His voice broke. And for the first time in years, I felt my own defenses breaking, too. I thought about my own life, the constant rushing, the late nights, the endless deadlines. How often I sat with people physically but wasn't really there mentally. How many conversations I had half listened to. How many moments I might already have missed forever. Dr. Bennett continued, since my diagnosis, I've tried living differently. Each day I focus on being fully here with people, with the world, with myself. And do you know what? These weeks, though my body is failing, have been the most meaningful of my life. Because I'm not living for tomorrow. I'm experiencing today. We spoke for almost 2 hours. Notifications piled up on my screens, but for once I didn't care. He shared practices for presence, ways to train attention, ways to slow down, ways to choose connection over distraction. And then before hanging up, he left me with words I will never forget. Elon, your greatest gift won't be measured by rockets, cars, or companies. It will be measured by whether you are actually present for your own remarkable life. Don't pass through it like a ghost chasing the next milestone. Live it. Fully deeply now. I sat in silence long after the call ended. For the first time in decades, I questioned the narrative that had driven me forward without rest. That achievement equals meaning. That impact defines purpose. That accomplishment is everything. 2 weeks later, I flew to see him in person. We spent 3 days together. And in those 3 days, I learned more about living than in years of building. He was fragile, yet more alive than anyone I'd seen. Completely present, entirely attentive. Those days felt longer, richer, and more alive than months of my usual frenzy. 6 weeks later, he was gone. At his memorial, people didn't speak primarily of his scientific legacy. They spoke of moments of connection, of how he made them feel seen, valued, heard. That was his real success. Since then, I've been recalibrating my life. Not abandoning ambition, but putting it in its place. I've drawn boundaries around work to protect time for presence. I've built small rituals to anchor myself in the moment. I've started measuring my days not only by what I accomplish, but by how deeply I live them. It hasn't been easy. Old patterns fight to return. Our culture worships achievement, and it's tempting to keep chasing. But Dr. Bennett's words cracked the foundation, and that crack has grown. Now I can see the truth. A life measured only by achievement is a life half-lived. Each night I ask myself, where was I truly present today? When did I choose connection over distraction? Did I actually live this day or just get through it? The answers are changing. Slowly but surely, and so am I, chosen one. Don't just receive, respond. A simple super thanks up to $20 is a way to say yes to what heaven is releasing through this word. I share this because maybe you've been caught in the same trap. Maybe you've believed that success is only about building, doing, achieving. Maybe you've traded presence for productivity so often you hardly notice anymore. Dr. Bennett's gift to me, the call that changed everything, was a reminder that presence is not a luxury. It is life itself. And if you wait until later to live fully, later may never come. So here's the truth I learned. Achievement matters, but presence matters more. Impact matters, but connection matters deeper. And life is not what you build tomorrow. It's the moment you're living right now. If this resonates with you, share it with someone who needs to be reminded. Subscribe if you want more reflections on living a life measured not just by accomplishment, but by meaning. And tonight, when your day ends, ask yourself, was I truly present for the moments that mattered most? That's the real measure of success.